Well, after a week off, we are back doing our MLS recap videos. And this was a great week in MLS, week 4, some great matchups. And we're going to talk about a couple of the big games, some surprises, and just give an update over what happened this weekend in the league. But before we do that, make sure you like this video down below. Let's get to 150 likes. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We have a lot of viewers who watch the videos but aren't subscribed to the channel yet. And also hit that little bell notification so you never miss a video. Now, let's start off with our Sunday night soccer matchup, which was between Inter Miami and Atlanta United. Now, Inter Miami won this game 2-1, and this was a heavyweight battle because we have Inter Miami with Messi and co, Barca boys, probably the best team in the league, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And Atlanta United, the winners of the offseason, spent the most money of any team in the league, record-breaking money, and they finally match up against each other. Also, keep in mind that Atlanta United was the team to knock off Inter Miami in the first round in the 2024 MLS Cup playoffs, upsetting Messi and co. So this is a rivalry that is forming, an organic rivalry. These teams do not like each other. The fan bases do not like each other. And Inter Miami looked really, really good. Now, at the beginning of this game, I was a little worried because Inter Miami didn't really have an answer for Emmanuel Latte-Lot. He was going unmarked. Maxime Falcone could not keep up with him. The aerial game, Emmanuel Latte-Lot, he scored 2 goals in the off of headers, but one of them was disallowed because he was offside. They didn't have an answer for him, and honestly, it looked a little concerning. You have Maxi Falcone, who's under 6 foot. You have Noah Allen, who's under 6 foot, and I'm like, man, this could be an issue. But they got it situated. He did score the 1 goal. They were up 1-0, but then Lionel Messi, had an absolutely beautiful goal. He cooked Derek Williams. By the way, rest in peace to Derek Williams. Thank you for what you did for the league. But he absolutely bodied him, crossed him up, and had a beautiful chip goal on Brad Guzan. And that is a moment where you watch and you're just like, Messi might be 37 going on 38, but the man is still arguably the best player in the world. Yes, the best player in the world, even at 37 going on 38 years old. And it makes you think this Inter Miami team is so stacked. With or without Messi, they're good, but with him, they are even better. So the game is a stalemate. 1-1. Looks like it's going to possibly be a draw. And then at the end of the game, we have Fafa Pico with the header to win the match for Inter Miami. Now, Inter Miami is undefeated this year. They have 3 wins, 1 draw, and 0 losses. Javier Mascherano looks like an improved coach over Tata Martino, which a lot of people were skeptical, including myself, if that would be the case. But he is an improved coach. I think he's better for this team. He might be able to get them over the hump to win the big match. And Atlanta United has question marks. Now, Atlanta United has sort of a broken attack right now. Now, Emmanuel Latte-Lot did score a goal, like I said, but Miranchuk kind of seems like he is a misfit. Miguel Marron is kicked over to the right wing, which when he played for Atlanta United back in 2017-18, he was more in the middle, creating chances. Now he's obviously more of a winger in his later days, and that's what he played for Newcastle United. But a lot of question marks with this Atlanta United team, still figuring it out. Not time to hit the panic button just yet. But with all this money they spent, with a coach and they hired Ronnie Dyla, who is an MLS Cup winning coach, you have to have some results. They only have 1 win this year, which is a little concerning, but we'll see what happens as the season progresses, because I expect this team and this attack to gel more and eventually be a force to be reckoned with in Major League Soccer. Now, let's talk about our second game, Charlotte FC versus FC Cincinnati. Now, Charlotte FC is a team that a lot of people were really high on coming into the season. I thought they could be much improved because Dean Smith is a good coach. Ajimong is a pretty good striker with a lot of potential. They just needed that one piece to really tie it all together. And you've heard me say this before, but Wilfred Zaha was supposed to be that piece. On the other end, you have Cincinnati, who lost Lucho Acosta. They replaced him with Evander. They signed Kevin Danke to be a force up top, score some goals, one position that they have been desperately needing the last couple years, especially since they sold Brandon Vasquez a couple years ago, sold Brenner a couple years ago. They needed a striker. Two very evenly matched teams, but Charlotte FC come out on top 2-0 over FC Cincinnati, and they honestly just dominated the whole game. Now, I'm not going to beat Cincinnati up too badly because they have played a lot more extra games with the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Charlotte obviously has only played MLS regular season matches so far this year, not having to play these additional games, but they just look like the better team, Charlotte FC. They look better. The attack was good. Dean Smith, I said this, is probably the best manager in Major League Soccer as it currently stands. That title was most recently held by Wilfred Nazi, but Dean Smith is just absolutely putting on a masterclass with this team. And I believe that they are going to be a force in the playoffs in the regular season and could give Miami a run for their money down the stretch in the Eastern Conference for that first place spot. And Abada maybe finally coming into his own. Ajiman, like I said, looking pretty good. Got that USMNT call up, which I think could carry some momentum and help him finish the season out strong or have a good season in 2025 and elevate and, build off of his strong 2024 season because he was really good last year for Charlotte FC. You just need that piece to help unlock him. And Kalina, still the best goalkeeper in Major League Soccer. Charlotte FC is a force. Cincinnati, let's see what happens. Very similar situation with Cincinnati and Atlanta United. Have some pieces that need to mesh, have some pieces that need to gel, see what happens. Let's not judge them now. Let's give them a couple more weeks, maybe even close to summertime. See what they look like by then. But hey, this is looking really good for Charlotte FC. And I would say that them and Miami are the clear front runners in the Eastern Conference as of right now. Best teams in the Eastern Conference of Major League Soccer. Now, moving on to a couple other matches, we had the New York Red Bulls and Orlando City SC finished at 2-2. Really thought Orlando City SC was going to win this game. New York Red Bulls found a way to get a tie. So the Eastern Conference is just so brutal. So many good competitive teams. It really is a struggle or a challenge to get a win or even a point, not even 3 points, a point each week because of the competition. You have Chicago versus Toronto FC. Greg Berhalter gets a win here, beats Toronto FC 2-1. Toronto FC is his absolute dumpster fire right now. Have to get rid of Insigne so they can free up that DP spot and hopefully get someone in here who can help this team out. Very sad state of affairs for this team as of right now. Austin FC beats LAFC. LAFC's got a lot of issues right now. They did advance to the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Have Inter Miami coming up very soon. They don't get their stuff figured out. It could be an embarrassing routing for LAFC. Inter Miami is not a team to play around with. And also, could we possibly see Steve Cherundolo's seat start to warm up? Because I've been saying for a long time, Steve Cherundolo is not equipped to coach this team. He's very overrated. I think they could do better. Not a Dolo fan. If you follow this channel, if you follow me on Twitter, you know how I feel about Steve Cherundolo. But hey, Austin FC gets a dub. This is good for them. They lose. LAFC lose 1-0 to Austin FC. DC United and Montreal, 0-0 draw. Probably the worst game of the weekend. Nothing exciting coming from that game. New York City FC beats New England Revolution 2-1. Pascal Janssen looks like a great hire for New York City FC. They are unbeaten this year, and you can just see with the same talent essentially, and honestly lost Santiago Rodriguez, so not even as talented, I guess. Same players except losing your best player. You can see the difference between him and Nick Cushing. Team looks a whole lot better playing under him. New York City FC is a team. Like I said, Eastern Conference, absolutely stacked. Now, moving on to Sporting Kansas City and Minnesota United 3-3. That's something we need to talk about. Minnesota United were absolutely beating Sporting Kansas City's brains out in the first half. 3-0, okay? And there was some inclement weather, snow, had to switch out to an orange ball in the second half. And Sporting Kansas City was able to get a draw and a point out of this game, finished 3-3. And I saw some people celebrating this, Sporting Kansas City, even the admin on the Sporting Kansas City Twitter/X account, talking about the vibes and how they're feeling after this game. And I just, really bothers me because why are we celebrating a draw when your team hasn't won a game all season long? Are we just not? Is there not a standard of winning anymore? Are we not expecting to win games as a club? We're celebrating draws because of how down bad you are with no wins this season. I think I saw a stat that Sporting Kansas City hasn't won their last 10 matches dating back to last season. We're celebrating draws. I have an issue with that. I have an issue for that. Feel really bad for the Sporting Kansas City fans. Hopefully, Peter Vermees's days are numbered. Get that man the hell out of there. He is washed. Washed, washed, washed. Okay, moving on to the next game. We had Vancouver and FC Dallas. Vancouver is the surprise this season. Undefeated, top of the Western Conference. Teams up for sale. Doesn't matter. Beat Monterrey last week, Liga MX's team, and they beat Dallas 1-0. Vancouver's probably the hottest team in the Western Conference. Might be the hottest team in MLS right now. Have to see. I'd like to see them play a top tier team. You guys know I'm high on Dallas, but I like to see them play a heavier weight team like a Miami or New York City FC or a Charlotte FC. Just kind of see what they do against a team like that. But hey, can't say they're not playing well right now. They are undefeated, top of the Western Conference, 12 points, beat FC Dallas 1-0 this past week. RSL beats Houston 2-1. Looks like Houston's really starting to Ben Olsen's starting to show his true colors, how he is a very, very vulnerable manager, not really adapting to the current MLS. Had a pretty good first two seasons with Houston, but you can really start to see his deficiencies. They have to get some players in here. They have to get a playmaker. They have not replaced Hector Herrera. McGlynn is not the guy. We'll have to see what happens, what they do in the summer, but I think Ben Olsen is doomed, honestly. RSL picks up a win. They look like they're starting to figure things out. St. Louis City SC, also undefeated this year. 2 wins, 2 draws. Beat Seattle Sounders 1-0. Sounders also struggling. Very overrated team, in my opinion. You guys know I'm not high on the Sounders this year. Did not like their moves, but we'll see what happens. San Diego played Columbus, ended in a 1-1 draw. San Diego, obviously, very, very formidable, competitive expansion team in 2025. Beat the Columbus, or tie with the Columbus Crew. Columbus Crew, they got Diego Rossi, but that's about it. They got to have something more. I hopefully they are prioritizing the Cucho Hernandez replacement. They haven't signed him yet, but hopefully that is something that happens sooner rather than later, because it's hard to really compete when you don't have that Cucho Hernandez spot filled. Colorado beats San Jose 2-1. San Jose starting to really slow down a little bit, maybe come back down to earth. And, they probably should have beat Colorado, but there's still some pieces they need to add. I'm not too worried about them. I still think they will be a playoff team in 2025. Nashville SC are the first team to beat Philadelphia this year. Beat them 3-1. Philadelphia was a red hot team like Vancouver. Very big surprise. Was 3-0 heading into this week. They lose to Nashville 3-1. Sam Sturridge finally gets on the score sheet. Nashville SC looks pretty good. Hadi Mukhtar had a beautiful penalty. And, we'll see what happens in Nashville SC. I'm still skeptical. See what BJ Callahan can do. But Philadelphia have their first loss this season. Bradley Carnell's first loss as the Philadelphia Union manager. And finally, we had the LA Galaxy and Portland Timbers match ending in a 1-1 draw. Probably should have been a loss for the Galaxy because of the non-called penalty on Garces at the end of the game, where it was clearly a foul inside the box. Probably should have been a red. Probably should have been a penalty, and Portland probably would have converted and won this game. So the Galaxy should be very lucky that wasn't called. They would have lost. They would have lost more points. Got their first points this season in this game, and Galaxy did advance in the CONCACAF Champions Cup, but this team is very, very lost right now with all the injuries that they have. We will see what happens with the LA Galaxy going forward when they get a couple pieces back, like Joseph Paintsel and hopefully their U22 striker from Brazil. We will see what happens. But let me know down in the comment section below, what was your biggest takeaway from week 4 in MLS? What was your favorite game? Who do you think was the best player? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification so you never miss a video. And until next time, guys, I will see you all soon.